14, Chapter 14, The Worm Grunner. Okay guys, let's get into this. Chapter 14, The Worm Grunner. The first rumble came about 1:30 in the morning. The thunder sounded far off but ominous. I wondered if Quinn heard it, but I wasn't going to ask. 10 minutes later, the lightning strode were making it easy for me to look at my watch and time the thunder. The storm was about 8 miles away, and I got on one elbow. Hear that, Quinn? Fortunately, it'll go away, he mumbled. I tried to 5 minutes later, here came thunder strong enough to loosen our filling, and the wind started blowing hard. Tube 10, Quinn announced, and we're springing to action. I grabbed the parachute cord we brought along and fed it through the tubular sheet of flimsy orange plastic we'd thrown down and gone to sleep on. We ran in, my legs inside Quinn's, my backpack with Packle and Fred inside sat between us. We might have looked silly, like two men in a tube, but nobody was watching, and we were crazy with fish lust, which is indestructible if you are a fisherman. It costume were utterly turns you are a fisherman. It costumes were utterly turned you on, turn you into a prehistoric spear chucking caveman. Locks were so wrinky. Finally, we reached water deep enough to start fishing. Quinn was sure he had the hot ticket, a huge silver spoon with revoluting red eyes. I selected a giant red and white daredevil. We soon discovered that we had a problem. We needed to keep the boat moving, but with closed toy oars, we couldn't get enough speed to get the lures. Yeah. Behind us, any action, we were getting some curious looks from the suddenly plentiful motorboats. After an hour with me working these oars fast as egg beaters and still no bite, we headed for shore in utter defeat. The Challenger was challenging all right, Quinn said sorely. It isn't built for speed, I'll give you that. What is it built for, Brady? Swimming pool. The closet shoreline was a campsite where an old guy was with a grizzled bear was sitting on a lawn chair and sorry, my hair's in my eyes. Sitting on a lawn chair. Guys, I'm just waiting for Frozen. In front of his camper and watching us come in. He wasn't laughing, which was good. Fishing can make you feel murderous at times, especially when people are watching you make a fool of yourself. We staged shore. The guy looked sympathetic. He asked if we wanted some fried chicken. Quinn echoed. We accept. Call me Curly. Our benefactor told us we got the joke. His head was slick as a billiard ball. Curly told us he was from Missouri and then he hadn't shaved since he left home in June. We told him we'd been trying to troll for lake trout. Forget the lures. Boys, I suggest you try worms. You won't have a troll, just sit down and wait for them to bite. When we mentioned we didn't have any worms, Curly cried, "No problem, I'm an old worm gunner." Into the pickled and chips, the old-timer produces a heavy wooden snake, a sledgehammer, a pair of gloves, and serious trap. Metal, which he called a slob. Curly put his gloves on, pounded the stake into the ground, and began rubbing the slob and back and forth over the top of the stake. And faster he was, sure enough, the turning all the while. Pretty soon Curly was so red in the face, I thought I was going to see my first heart attack. What we saw instead all around us were worms coming up out from the ground. Huge night crawlers. "Grab 'em, boys, grab 'em." Soon as I quit, their dive back under. We collected 24 of our crawlers, fast enough to ever Curly Cornelius. Then put them in a paper box. We had emptied of fried chicken, fish laid at the bottom. Okay, guys, that'll be it. See you next time.